No rehearsal.
Nah.
No sleep.
It is 5:33 currently.
New gear. There was a lot of things that worked, and there was a lot of things that didn't work. New songs. People getting sick. And still somehow playing great shows. Starting in Brisbane and wrapping up in Frankston, I recently played guitar on tour for the band WAAX.
This is Jonathon.
This is a session spot for me, so that means I'm not a member of the band per se, but I am paid to play live by Maz, who's the captain of the ship. So what goes into being a session player for a rock band? This isn't the kind of show where, you can just stand in one place and just focus on playing the parts while the person who's kind of in the lead spot is taking the attention. You kind of need to put on a show as well. A huge part of playing rock music live is actually being an entertainer, meaning that stage presence really does play a huge part on the impact of the show. Like, how does the show feel? Kind of, you are dictating that by how involved you're getting in it. But when you combine all those factors I was talking about before and jumping around, these things can kind of force your hand into kind of accepting one of the things that makes rock music live work, which is risk.
Is this right? Is this right? Is this everything? Is this right? Is this not? Is this everything?
So WAAX is an Australian rock band that started in 2012. In being completely honest, I've been a huge fan of them since I think it was 2016, when I heard the song Same Same on the radio. Unfortunately, in April 2023, they actually announced a hiatus. But in that hiatus announcement, Maz actually managed to predict the future a little bit here by saying, "I will be back one day stronger than ever." In November that same year, I get these messages. Maz has come back swinging now, just as WAAX being her, but with the session band in tow. Since starting back up, we've done about 4 tours so far, including this most recent one called the You're a Rat Tour. And I filmed a bunch of it. So this is the story of what happened on the You're a Rat Tour. Yahoo!
It is 5:35 in the morning currently. It is all going to be about sleep-pilled, nap-maxing behaviour.
When you think about rock shows, one of the last things you probably think of is early flights. Why do musicians get early flights? So A, they're cheap. We're running on limited budgets here. That's what makes it work. Also, in case your flights get changed at the last minute. Something happens, they get cancelled, whatever. If your flight's gonna be fucked with, you want it to be the one that happens in the morning, so there's the day to kind of correct for that error.
To the airport we go.
So Izzy and I met at the airport at 6 a.m.
Love a lounge sunrise.
Yeah.
Got on our 7 a.m. flight and flew up to Brisbane, where we met Greg, who was providing the backline and driving us around for the day. Without an early check-in to the hotel, we replaced sleep with some brunch for an early load into the venue.
Vlog. Who out here vlogging?
We asked for an early load in because we're all coming from different states. There was no chance for a rehearsal beforehand. Maz has just gotten in from LA. It's all turbo. So the idea is we rock up early, have a decently long sound check and rehearsal time where we play the new songs and just kind of settle things in.
Can we hit another song, Lee? Alright. Mr. Jeff.
Thankfully though, Kaz, who's playing guitar on this tour, and I were able to actually schedule a Zoom call earlier in the week to just kind of like lay out who's doing what parts. A lot of this stuff is dependent on 2 guitars doing different things. For us, it's just making sure you're doing that. Okay, I'm doing that. Sweet. We're also introducing the IEM rack I put together, the goal of which is so that everyone can hop on their phones and mix their own in-ears so they can get what they need for the show. However, whether due to some kind of technical error or some cables going wrong, whatever it was, we weren't able to get my mixing rack to communicate with the IEMs that Maz already has. In situations like this, do you go up in arms about it and really pump the brakes while trying to sort something technical out, especially when you've got limited sleep? Nah. You just kind of go back to what the backup was, which was just having our front of house person dial in the in-ears for everybody.
Okay, Rangi, you need more in your ears, more guitar in your ears?
Just a little bit.
But something for me to solve between this show and the next show. So after going through all of that fuss, we were able to run a bunch of the new songs, kind of check in on how they're going, and iron out any of the like uh-oh moments.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hell yeah, dude.
A fucking hell yeah, bro.
So we went back to the hotel.
Guys,
No, stow it.
it's a
Where
it's
am
a
I
tow
gonna put my
truck.
luggage?
Oh my god.
Got ourselves ready for the show, and then came back to play the Brightside Outdoors, which is an absolutely gorgeous venue to play, and we had a great time.
You were right. Better than me. In my head. So I'll pack my shit up. You're right or wrong. You're better than me. I'll never enough. In my head, I thought I was wrong. Someone big, someone wrong. You were right all wrong. So I'll pack my shit up and walk away. I'll go. Walk away.
There was a few moments of like, oh my god, did I get the right pedals and all this sort of stuff. But for the most part, I played well under the circumstances. Definitely some things to improve and kind of work on. But for a first pass, I felt pretty good about it.
We did not get to sleep today, so I'm tired.
Then it's back to the hotel and then an early flight back to Melbourne the next day. Coming back from Brisbane, I actually took the in-ears rack that Maz had and kind of just settled some problems it was having. A bunch of screws had come out, so the in-ear transmitter units were kind of like rolling around in the case a little bit. Not like an alarming amount, but enough for me to be concerned. So I went in there, replaced a bunch of screws, kind of taped everything down a little bit more, and also bought some fresh cables to test the connection between my mixing rack and the in-ears. So once that was all settled, I knew that most of the problems we were having got solved in that moment. So that thing I mentioned before about flights being swapped at the last minute, at 5:45 in the morning, I woke up and saw a text message from Virgin saying, hey, we moved your flight. We've changed it to one whole hour earlier, which in the morning, I called Izzy and was like, dog, we got to be at the airport in like 45 minutes. And I was really glad to get through because we got on that plane. I had kind of made the error the night before that was like, I'm just going to grab these last cables in the morning. That'll be fine. So RIP, the cable that let me record the shows a little bit more like I had at Brisbane. Realistically, I could have bought another one from somewhere in Canberra or in Sydney, but like you're tired and you forget that buying a cable is an option because you're tired. So by the grace of God, Izzy and I catch our flight. We get up to Sydney. We meet everyone there.
Fucking check out the fucking rig. I feel very comfortable about that guitar being there.
We have a cute little brunch and make our way down to Canberra for that night's show at the UC Hub, which I've played a million times in a bunch of different bands, so really glad to be back.
Does it mean now that we've worked it out, the next show, like it's all going to be ready to go?
It's always going to be a bit finicky, but each time we do this, it gets that next step closer to just plug in and go.
Thank you, man.
So after a much smoother setup and sound check and rehearsal moment, we got to go back to the hotel and get ourselves ready for the show. So on this whole run is the band Worm Girlz, who are awesome. We had them support Cry Club when we last played in Brisbane. It's always great to go on tour with people you already know because there's just this like family quality to what's going on. They're a great team as well, great songs, so really loved doing the shows with them. So yeah, after a funny start in the morning, we still played a great show. This show was a little bit funny to us on stage. It felt like we were constantly trying to like grab the vibe, and sometimes we had it. I know by the end we definitely had them. One of the things I thought actually was that the stage was really bright because of a bright colored floor, and it kind of gave it like a school auditorium kind of vibe. But it's really hard to know because sometimes when you're the performer on stage, you might be feeling something that the audience just isn't thinking about at all. So who knows? If you were in the Canberra show, I hope you liked it. Every time I visit Canberra though, gotta visit Sweet Bones, a cafe that I've been going to for years. Had a friend recommend it to me one of the first times that Cry Club went to Canberra, and I think I've gone almost every single time I've been in Canberra since, so shout out Sweet Bones. Then it was a drive up to Sydney, checking into the hotel.
Got their rockstar platter of chocolate here. And the cute little koalas. I think they might think we're like international. Hence the koalas, you know?
Then going to the venue, which was the Underground at UTS, one of the local universities. One of the supports was actually the band Grace, who supported Beck Stevens on a show that I played in Sydney a couple of years ago.
Yes, okay. Yes. Let's fucking roll. Let's go.
But yeah, now the ball is rolling, the shows are happening, sound check, setup, all that sort of stuff is going super smooth now. So after a quick little moment there, back to the hotel to get yourself ready, and then come back to play the show. And this show turned out to be maybe one of the best, if not the best, of the whole tour. Sydney was raucous as hell.
It's not my fault, this is how I grew up. Help me help my
Something was absolutely just in the air that night. I feel like everyone was like as engaged as they could have been, which was really, really awesome to be on stage for. Next day, the classic one, a flight back to Melbourne for Izzy and I before the last two shows, Melbourne and Frankston, which are in Victoria. So now that everything is rolling, we had that banger show in Sydney. Nothing could stop us, right? Thankfully, Vince from the band Fangirl had actually played some shows with WAAX in the past. We were able to get him in on these last two shows, which was really great. One of the side effects of having this like in-ear rack that I'm running is that when I remember the cable, I'm able to record the shows. So I was able to send Vince the guitar recording from the Brisbane show and just say, here's what Kaz was playing, just play that. That way Vince was able to learn the songs really quick and not have that kind of question of what parts he was to play. He was just able to go in and go, okay, here's what I'm doing. I've played these songs before, let's do it. So another venue I'd played previously, this one was Howler in Brunswick, but the last time I played it was in 2016 when I was playing with Beck Sandridge and we were supporting Cub Sport on a whole national tour, which was an awesome tour, and I remember really loving this venue. So after a sound check, Vietnamese lunch, and going home for a bit, it was back to the venue. On this show, we also had the band Sick Visor, who have been like long-term mates of mine, continuing the family vibe of mates on tour. So, how did we go bringing a new guitarist in last minute for this show?
Fucking great.
This next song is about all of my exes put into one song. Wait, we're not wooing, we're booing. Boo. The last one was alright, but it was kind of shit.
Red receipts. Yeah. Is it red or read?
It's red.
Okay. Everybody ready to go? Yep.
Read receipts.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Anyway, we're back, we're so back.
This show was another banger, and everyone played great, including Vince, who, again, stepped in last minute, played great. And then, thankfully, you don't get to say this a lot on tour, but then I went home but to sleep in my own bed, thank the Lord. Heading towards the last show now, we drive down to Frankston to play at the Pelly Bar. Another return venue. This one I'd previously played in 2022, I think it was, when I was playing guitar for an artist called Eaglemont, who was supporting the band Slowly Slowly. Let me tell you, Slowly Slowly would not be playing that small room anymore. They would be playing this one. The venue is actually also connected to a larger kind of nightclub-y kind of venue that also hosts shows. And I'd actually played that venue earlier this year with my own band, Cry Club, when we supported the band Stand Atlantic. Now a well-oiled machine, got set up, had a sound check, ran through some songs.
Can you just give me like a really big yell mic?
Yeah!
Yeah, that mic's way better, cool.
Much better.
No apology?
Yeah, let's do that. Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo.
Smooth sailing. So while Worm Girlz got themselves set up, get fucking vlogged. Oh my god.
No paparazzi.
Get vlogged. We had dinner across the road before coming back and playing the last show of the tour.
It's a fucking pleasure to have you here. This is the last show of the tour, so you know we're about to fucking turn up. We have no choice. We just have to do it. It's like what we've got to do. What I was gonna say was, we probably can't do an encore because we've got nowhere to fucking hide. Like, what are we gonna do? Go behind the fucking... Oh yeah, we'll just turn around. Okay, we'll be like, it's done.
I feel like Making fun of the encore is like a really great way of acknowledging that people expect things like encores while also kind of like having some fun with it. So it doesn't kind of play out the same way every time.
Okay, yeah, we're back. It's so cool to see you again.
So with that last show ticked off, it was farewell to Worm Girlz, who'd been on this whole tour with us. Can't wait to cross paths again. Love y'all. If you had seen the poster for this tour, you might notice the Australian classic experience, which is touring is based around the end of the week. But that turns touring for Australian musicians into this weird little cycle where you're going to go away, play a show on Friday and Saturday, come back on Sunday, and then kind of go back to your day job, your kind of like standard week, which might have, like I have, a completely opposite schedule. Moving between those two states of being can kind of be one of the crushing parts of Australian touring. When we had toured in Europe with Cry Club, being able to stay in the one mode and just be like, I am in tour mode for an entire month, I was able to kind of like manage that a little bit better, I think. Whereas the Australian version of it is like day job, rockstar, day job, rockstar, and that loop can get you really tired. So we were all pretty exhausted by the end. That said, any shows, any touring with the band WAAX is a complete dream. A lot of session musicians use the logic that is called the musician's triangle. The idea is that there are 3 points: good music, good people, good money. If you can get at least 2 of those, you're sweet, and you should say yes to the show. Thankfully for me, WAAX kind of ticks all 3 boxes. It's something I'm endlessly stoked to be a part of and can't wait for more. Also, huge thank you to everyone for watching what is now my first YouTube video ever. If you liked it and want to see more, give this video a like, leave a comment, subscribe maybe. If you want to see me play live sometime, my band Cry Club is going on tour starting in November this year. We're playing Adelaide, Wollongong, Sydney, Canberra, Brisbane, Melbourne. And that Melbourne show is going to be a really special one. It's a New Year's Eve slot, so we're going to bring the new year in with a bang. So link to tickets going to be in the description, and thank you so much.